Every morning, millions of people wake up chasing the same ghost. A bigger paycheck. A fancier car. A better title. We sprint toward numbers on a screen, believing one day, when that number is big enough, we'll finally feel safe, proud, complete. But here's the truth. Money doesn't chase you back. It's not love. It's not purpose. It's a mirror. And for most people, that mirror reflects only one thing: the emptiness they were running from. There's a story about a man who worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 20 years. He built a company from nothing, became a millionaire. And yet, one morning, he found himself crying in his new car. He wasn't broke. He was empty. Because he had everything to live with, but nothing to live for. We've been taught a dangerous lie, that money is the destination. But the truth? Money is just a magnifier. It doesn't change who you are. It just makes you more of who you already are. If you're insecure, money buys you louder insecurities. If you're lost, money gives you more roads to wander down. And if you don't know why you're chasing it, you'll never know when to stop. So, where do you start? When you have a life built on chasing something that never ends. You start with why. Not what you want. Not how to get it. But why you want it. Welcome to Quick Reads for Success, where powerful ideas meet real change. Today we're diving deep into the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, and you will learn how great leaders inspire everyone to take action. Think about it. We admire billionaires and entrepreneurs not because they have money, but because they have meaning. Steve Jobs didn't build Apple for money. He built it to change how humans interact with technology. Elon Musk didn't start SpaceX to get rich. He did it because he couldn't stand dying on one planet. The money followed the mission. There's a part of the brain, the limbic system, that doesn't understand language or logic. It only understands emotion. That's where desire lives. That's where motivation lives. So when you tell yourself, I want to be rich, your brain doesn't move. It doesn't feel anything. But when you tell it, I want to build something that helps others. I want to free my family from struggle. I want to live without fear. That's when it listens. That's when it ignites. There's a fascinating study done on lottery winners. Almost all of them, within 5 years, return to the same emotional state they were in before they won. Some become depressed. Some go bankrupt. Because the money changed their world, but not their identity. You can buy comfort, but you can't buy contentment. You can rent happiness, but purpose has to be built. We don't chase money because we love it. We chase it because we love what we think it will fix. The anxiety, the comparison, the fear of being less. But here's the paradox. The moment you make money your master, it becomes the one thing that controls you. And no matter how fast you run, it keeps moving the finish line. Real wealth starts when you stop asking, how much can I earn? And start asking, how much can I contribute? Because happiness doesn't come from accumulating. It comes from aligning. When what you do, how you do it, and why you do it all point in the same direction, that's when you become unstoppable. That feeling when your paycheck hits, that dopamine rush when your balance climbs. It feels good. For a moment. But neuroscientists discovered something powerful. When you chase money for the feeling, your brain releases the same chemicals as an addiction. Dopamine. The molecule of maybe. It rewards you for chasing, not for finding. That means you get high on the pursuit, but empty on the arrival. You tell yourself, if I just reach that next goal, I'll finally relax. But when you reach it, your brain resets the bar. Suddenly, enough isn't enough anymore. You're chasing the next bonus, the next follower count, the next shiny thing. It's a treadmill disguised as progress. And the worst part? You can't feel the speed until you burn out. Most people think burnout comes from working too hard. But it's not the workload, it's the emptiness of the work. You can climb a mountain all day, but if it's the wrong mountain, exhaustion hits your soul, not your body. There's an old parable about a man who spent his whole life climbing a tall mountain. At the top, He expected peace, admiration, and purpose. But when he reached the summit, he realized the ladder he'd been climbing was leaning on the wrong peak. He saw another mountain, smaller, quieter, but it was the one his heart always pointed to. He spent his life chasing more, and ended up losing meaning. That's the tragedy of success without purpose. Your brain has two major motivation systems. One is dopaminergic, fueled by reward, excitement, and novelty. The other is serotonergic, fueled by peace, gratitude, and meaning. When you live only for dopamine, you're constantly chasing what's next. When you cultivate serotonin, you start enjoying what's now. And the richest people in the world, they master the dance between the two. They know when to chase, and when to cherish. The tragedy of modern ambition is that we confuse progress with peace. We scroll through highlight reels, measuring our worth by how fast others move. But nobody posts the loneliness of winning at the wrong game. The sleepless nights. The quiet guilt that whispers, "I should feel happy, so why don't I?" Because fulfillment isn't speed. It's direction. One of my favorite stories is about a rich CEO on vacation who met a fisherman in a small village. The CEO asked, "How long does it take you to catch fish each day?" The fisherman smiled, "Just a few hours. Then I go home, play with my children, enjoy dinner with my wife, and relax with my friends." The CEO said, "If you fished all day, you could buy more boats, hire crews, and become rich." The fisherman asked, "And then what?" The CEO replied, "Then you could retire, relax, and spend time with your family." The fisherman smiled again. "What do you think I'm doing now?" We chase what we already have, but packaged in future tense. That's the illusion of later. So what's the fix? It's not quitting your job or rejecting ambition. It's remembering that money is a tool, not a trophy. When used with purpose, it builds freedom. Without purpose, it builds fear. You don't need to burn desire, you need to redirect it. Ask yourself, what's my wealth really for? If the answer stops at yourself, you'll always feel small. But when it stretches beyond you, to your family, your vision, your cause, that's when wealth becomes well-being. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a meaning problem. Because wealth without purpose feels like drinking ocean water. The more you consume, the thirstier you get. So what actually creates that deep, grounded, "I'm finally on the right path" feeling? It's not the size of the reward. It's the alignment between who you are and what you do. People who chase money operate from scarcity. People who attract money operate from purpose. It's the difference between, "I need to get paid," "I need to create impact." Scarcity says, "I want to win because I'm afraid to lose." Purpose says, "I want to win because I'm meant to contribute." And that's the switch that transforms ambition from stress into strength. Let me tell you a secret. Your bank account can't grow faster than your identity. If you see yourself as someone who's always struggling, you'll sabotage success when it finally arrives. If you see yourself as someone who's undeserving, you'll reject opportunities before they open. If you see yourself as someone meant to serve, build, and uplift, you'll naturally rise above the noise. Money follows identity. Identity follows belief. And belief follows why. There's a story of two artists. Both talented. Both hard-working. The first asked, "How can I make money from my art?" He chased trends, copied styles, and sprinted toward popularity. The second asked, "How can my art change someone's day?" She painted from her heart, told stories, and created work that made people feel. 3 years later, one burned out. The other built a global brand. Same talent, different intention. That's the power of purpose-driven prosperity. Here's something most people don't realize. Purpose multiplies everything it touches. It multiplies motivation, consistency, patience, resilience, creativity, value, and value is the foundation of wealth. Not hustle, not luck, not randomness. Value, because money is not earned by effort. It's earned by impact. Your brain has a built-in GPS that moves you toward what you believe matters. This is called the reticular activating system, or RAS. If you train it to focus on money, you'll see opportunities for cash, but miss opportunities for meaning. Purpose, you'll see opportunities for growth, legacy, and contribution. Ironically, the second one makes you far richer. That's why the world's wealthiest don't wake up saying, "How can I make money today?" They wake up asking, "What problem can I solve today?" And money becomes the side effect. Every fulfilled millionaire shares one simple mindset. They chase their mission, not the prize. Because when the mission grows, their value grows. And when value grows, their income grows. But when you chase money first, your mission shrinks. And so does your impact. That's why the richest people are not paid for their time. They're paid for the meaning their time creates. Imagine you have two accounts. 1. External wealth, money, assets, income. 2. Internal wealth, clarity, purpose, confidence, peace. Most people try to fill the first account while the second sits empty. But the truth is simple. When your internal wealth rises, your external wealth follows. Because clarity improves choices. Purpose improves perseverance. Confidence improves communication. Peace improves creativity. Everything outside changes when the inside aligns. So how do you begin shifting from chasing money to building purpose-driven wealth? Step 1. Ask, who do I want to help? Step 2. Ask, what problem am I obsessed with solving? Step 3. Ask, what pain from my past can become someone else's solution? Most life-changing missions come from wounds, not wishes. Pain births purpose. Purpose births power. And power births prosperity. Years ago, a young boy watched his mother cry at the kitchen table. Because she couldn't pay the electricity bill. He promised himself, "I will become rich so my family never suffers again." But when he grew older, he realized something important. Money can fix bills, but it can't fix people. So he changed his mission. From, "I want to be rich," to, "I want to help people become financially free." He built a company around education, clarity, and empowerment. Today, he employs hundreds, impacts millions. And yes, he's rich. Not because he chased money, but because he chased meaning. Ask yourself right now, am I chasing a paycheck? Or am I building a purpose? If your work disappeared tomorrow, would the world feel the loss? Would you feel the loss? If the answer is no, you're pouring water into a bucket with holes. But if the answer is yes, you're already walking the rare path to fulfillment. What if I told you that real wealth isn't about numbers, but about freedom? Not freedom to buy, but freedom to be. Freedom from fear. Freedom from pretending. Freedom from needing anyone's approval to feel complete. Most people chase money because they think it buys freedom. But true freedom begins when you realize you can live in peace, even before you're rich. When you chase more, you tell your mind that what you have now is not enough. That belief builds a cage around you, even if it's made of gold. But when you chase better, not more, your world expands. Better health. Better relationships. Better peace of mind. It's not about collecting wealth. It's about crafting wholeness. Because happiness doesn't start when your salary doubles. It starts when your soul finally stops negotiating its worth. There's a currency far more valuable than money, energy. Where you spend your energy decides your quality of life. You can be wealthy in the bank but bankrupt in spirit. Or you can be modest in income but rich in meaning. People talk about passive income. But the real goal should be active purpose. Because purpose gives you energy that money never can. You're watching Quick Reads for Success, where we uncover the principles that shape meaningful, successful lives. If this journey has opened your eyes, stay with me till the end. Because now, we're going to build your blueprint for true fulfillment. You'll never feel rich until you define what enough means. Enough isn't a number, it's a knowing. Enough is when you stop running from the feeling of not yet. Enough is when you realize you don't have to earn your right to rest. Enough is when success stops being about what people see and starts being about what you feel. If you never define enough, you'll spend your life chasing infinity, and infinity never arrives. A wealthy merchant once visited a monk. He said, "I envy your peace. Teach me how to be as calm as you." The monk smiled and poured tea into the merchant's cup until it overflowed. The merchant shouted, "Stop! It's full." The monk replied, "So is your life. How can peace enter when there's no space left?" The merchant finally understood. His problem wasn't lack, it was overflow. He had everything except space to feel it. Sometimes, you don't need more money. You need more stillness. The moment you cling to money as your identity, you shrink your vision. You start playing not to lose, instead of playing to create. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care from clarity, not from fear. The most successful people in the world know when to let go. Let go of control. Let go of pressure. Let go of proving. Because when your worth is not tied to your wealth, your creativity explodes. You stop performing and start building. There's an ancient principle that keeps proving itself true. The more you give, the more life gives back. Not in a mystical way, in a mathematical way. Generosity creates connection. Connection creates trust. Trust creates opportunity. The most fulfilled people never ask, "How can I make more money?" They ask, "How can I make more meaning?" Because meaning creates movements, and movements build wealth that outlives you. An old man once spent years building a wooden bridge across a deep river. Someone asked him, "Why are you doing this? You'll never use it." The man smiled. "It's not for me. It's for the ones who will walk after me." That's legacy. That's wealth. Not what you keep, but what you create for others. We live in a world obsessed with visible success. But real success happens in silence. When you forgive instead of compete. When you create instead of compare. When you help instead of impress. That's not weakness. That's evolution. Because someday, the applause fades. The titles disappear. And all that remains is who you became through the journey. You were not born to just pay bills and chase targets. You were born to build something that lasts. A family that's safe. A heart that's peaceful. A purpose that makes the world a little better than you found it. Money is just the language the world uses to measure value. But fulfillment, that's the language your soul uses to measure truth. And the moment you align the two, you stop working for life. And life starts working for you. So here's the question to leave you with. If money could speak, what would it say about you? Would it say you owned it, or that it owned you? Because money is a powerful servant, but a terrible master. Use it. Multiply it. But never let it define you. You are not what you earn. You are what you enable. If you've stayed until this point, that means you're part of a rare group. People who want success with soul. And that's exactly what Quick Reads for Success stands for. If this message moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because change doesn't start with more information. It starts with a shift in intention. Remember, don't chase money. Chase meaning. Because when your purpose grows, your prosperity will follow. This is Quick Reads for Success, where every idea is another step toward a richer mind, a freer heart, and a fulfilled life. Thank you for watching. And never forget, you'll never be happy chasing money until you learn what you're really chasing.